Welcome into the live stream here for McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. Tyler is not feeling well. Might show up in a little while, might not. I don't know. I'll do this thing solo. I do 14 podcasts a week. What's one by myself? So we'll go ahead and get rolling with the audition file. So hang tight. We'll get right to you. Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. Tyler Siskey not here as we speak. Might show up a little bit later. Don't know. Go ahead and get rolling on this. Don't have time to wait on him. He's not feeling particularly great, so hopefully he'll feel a little better as the week goes on. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel.
Hello, Scoops.
Hello, Joker. You not feeling well?
No, I'm fresh back from California. Had a big game in L.A. this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
Had some protests up in Berkeley, so I came back.
Yeah.
You know, they're still on those mask mandates out there, so
yeah.
Make sure
you complied.
I complied. I'm still complying. Just wanted to wish everybody a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And just make sure that all of you trolls out there, be nice to the little kids. Give them good candy. Scoops, what do you got for Halloween tonight?
I'm not really sure there was Joker. We pass out. We typically pass out pretty good candy.
All right. You got anything for Dion this weekend? I'm going back out and seeing him this weekend.
Who do they play this weekend?
Oh, they got the Oregon State Beavers.
Oh, Beavers are upset.
But it's not personal this week.
No, it's probably not personal. I'm going to tell you what. When the Beaver's angry, you want to be careful.
That's what she said.
that's what she said.
That's what she said.
That's what she said, Joker.
Well, Neal, I'll leave some masks for you at the door. I'm talking about these masks. I'll leave these for you at the door.
Thank you.
So you can pass them out to all your neighbors.
That would be a fun thing to pass out. Just a reminder to the little people of, you know, be aware that it's COVID season, right?
I think we're doing that at the Joker house tonight. Now that you said that,
yeah.
I'm going to selectively pass out some masks. And just to see the people's look on their face when I put, we trick or treat, put them a little mask in there, see how they go. All right, for all you people, Berkeley they're still there. They're still protesting on the 50-yard line. Justice for whoever. So we'll see if we can get that taken care of.
You're not a big social justice person, are you?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Joker likes social craziness. I like chaos.
Yeah.
So we're gonna create some chaos in Boulder this weekend.
I'm
gonna bring some masks to Boulder.
The Beavers are coming to Boulder?
The Beavers, they're angry Beavers too.
Yeah.
They're angry Beavers.
There's probably a lot of that in Boulder all the time.
Yeah, there's some of it in Oxford too. So. All right, Scoops, I'll see you later.
See you, Joker. That's the Joker making his appearance here on the show on Halloween. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. Bob's in the stream and everything. I assume we're still brought to you by Rain. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
I'm rolling with the old kiwi blend today, Neal. Frozen. I left her in the freezer a little too long today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got to thaw out a little bit. I need some too. So,
in all seriousness, you're feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, I'm
taking
good.
one for the team.
Taking one for the team.
Be a little shorter show today for that reason and others. We both have stuff going on with Halloween hours away.
Yep. And Neal, as you can tell, we have 69 people right there. All right, here we go.
Nice.
Hey,
that
what
is
nice.
What it
is. Neal, we got some new information from our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet, and the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping. It's Black Friday every day in November at Cooper Chevrolet Buick in Anniston. Cooper's just received a huge truckload of brand new Chevy Tahoes and Silverado pickups in every trim. With over 200 new Chevys, Buicks, and quality pre-owned. I gotta finish here.
That's what she said.
Yeah, we're on one today. It's Halloween. Mainly with the extended warranty backed by Car Bravo, Cooper is sure to have the right vehicle at the right price. Check East Alabama's best selection today at cooperchevrolet.com.
We're also brought to you by Twisted Tea. Are you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage. For college football fans, Twisted Tea is unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea, packs a flavorful punch with 5% alcohol, no carbonation, delivering the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game day occasion. No need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team, whether you're tailgating in the stadium parking lot, watching at a bar, or hosting friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to elevate game day experience. It perfectly complements your love for college football, your passions for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences with Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
The Joker left his hair all over the place over here.
Oh, yeah. The bit was kind of revealed when you left you had the can was in the picture.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's one of
You
those
did
days.
good though.
I did good.
It was good. It was fun. A lot of fun.
All right, Neal.
There's a couple of trades in the
Who we got?
so Montez Sweat goes
Yeah.
to the Bears, and I think Chase Young just got traded to the Niners.
That's all he needs, another edge rusher. Bosa on one end, Chase Young on the other one.
Yeah.
What did they get for Chase Young?
I will tell you. This is per The Athletic.
I knew Montez Sweat. They got a second-round pick
This
for Montez Sweat.
This is by Diana Rossini, who does a fantastic job covering the NFL. She really does. The Washington Commanders traded defensive end Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers for a 2024 third-round draft pick, per league sources. Young is in the final year of a 4-year, $34.5 million fully guaranteed contract. The Commanders opted not to pick up Young's fifth-year option this offseason. Commanders are 3-5, third in the NFC East. The Niners at 5-3 trail the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC West.
Yeah, that's a big trade for 49ers. I mean, they're already you better get your quick game ready if you're in the NFC West, because that's going to be not going to give you a lot of time to throw the ball.
The only other deal an hour ago, this from Diana Rossini, Alec Lewis, and Doug Howler of The Athletic. Minnesota has traded for Cardinals quarterback Josh Dobbs in exchange for a sixth and a seventh-round pick. Let's see. Minnesota found reinforcement at quarterback by trading a sixth-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals for Josh Dobbs and a seventh-round pick.
Here comes Kyler Murray this weekend then.
The Vikings have confirmed the deal.
Yeah, so that means Kyler Murray's going to go this weekend. Dobbs really played well for the first half of the year. He did a good job. I mean, got himself a job. And you know what? With Cousins' situation in Minnesota, may end up finding himself into a little longer-term deal there. So, Neal, last night, I don't know what happened. I don't know if our people didn't listen to us yesterday. Mr. Monday, Thursday night, said I took the Lions minus 6.5, bought a point. Didn't even need to buy the point.
You didn't need the point.
The Lions kicked the shit out of the Raiders.
They did.
Garoppolo played about as bad as I've seen an NFL quarterback play. It was terrible. He's looking to rush. He's just getting tattooed. They had no chance of moving the football. Devontae Adams' frustration level through the roof. I mean, wide open. He was smoking dudes, wide open. And they just, missing bad throws, man, just missing altogether.
He was really frustrated.
I mean, he threw his stuff, 3 or 4 times? I mean, it was terrible. And the Lions, they win by 12. They at one point in time, they had been to the inside the red zone 7 straight drives and only had 16 points. I mean, you couldn't stop them. Jahmyr Gibbs played well. It was kind of he has scored his first touchdown last week, but really played what you were expecting Jahmyr Gibbs to play like last night. It was really good. All right, Neal, I'm going to be brief on this. I know you talked your face off on it this morning.
We did quite a lengthy show on this.
And
mostly we talked about Kiffin.
Yeah. Won't bring him up. I didn't have a problem with what he said. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, he was on top of his press conference game.
Yeah, he's very dry, sense of humor, very witty, smart guy. So he that was on full display in his. Here's where I'm going to get at is a lot of coaches recently have been a little chippy in press conferences, a little chippy with media. And I got 2 things. One is, you and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. For years, media has been very critical of coaches for being too coach speaky.
Mm-hmm.
And
not me.
Not you, but I'm
No.
saying as a collective.
True.
You like how I threw that word in there for you?
Very good.
Lane, you like that? Collective. When they give you the soundbite that you've been wanting for the last 10 years, you can't complain about that too.
Right.
That's
No,
my only
absolutely.
thing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're being honest. They're telling you how they feel. Narduzzi, Dave Doran, hell, Dion. Dion's ready to
for
play.
sure.
Dion was ready to replace his. I mean, they're telling you.
For sports media, Dion's been a godsend.
Yeah, but you're seeing, and maybe he has something to do with it. Coaches are saying, hey, this guy's telling, just saying what he wants to say. Maybe I should too, whatever it is. But they're not giving you the old cliche stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Dion could have gone in there and said, well, we just got to get back to work and we got to get back to the fundamentals. And we got, instead he's like, no, we replaced them. That's what we do. That's how you get better on the up front of the offensive line.
Yeah. Told the truth.
He gave you the soundbite that you've been wanting.
Yeah.
And then, but you complain about that. That's my one holdup with that.
But not to defend media because that is not my role.
It's not all of them either. It's a select few.
But it's a handful. There's a lot of us who are like, hey, this is awesome. Guys are starting to actually talk. This is actually funny. Like, me, sometimes Mondays are drudgery. The coach thing. Hey, Lane, can you talk about what happened Saturday? And it's like, no, come on, let's have a little fun. It's just football, right? I mean, it's a big game, sure, but we're not executing the loser here. It's going to be all right,
right?
It's still a game. Have some fun with it. And so, yeah. And look, I mean, Narduzzi said that. I mean, the interesting story was the player reactions to it. Like, I'm now fascinated to see what Pitt looks like on Saturday. Do they play hard because they're pissed off at him? Or do they like, hey, screw you, man. We're all just going to take an L for you. I'm fascinated to see Clemson now. What do the Clemson kids do? What do they look like on Saturday? And it might not make a big difference. I don't know. I'm curious to see whether the A&M kids take – I mean, Kiffin clearly throwing shade at their coach. A lot of shade. So much shade. I mean, it is a gorgeous day in North Mississippi today, and the Lane Kiffin shade would block the sun right now. I mean, does it have any – and the truth is probably not. No real impact. But it makes it interesting.
Right.
It makes it more fun to talk about. It makes it more fun. I mean, for me, as a media member, I love this
We're
stuff.
talking about it now. Gives you material.
I mean, truth is, people are like, why do you hate Dion? I'm like, oh, I don't hate Dion at all. I love Dion. Dion's great for college football.
Agree.
I mean, look at the ratings.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado is what their record?
They're 4-5 now, or 4-4, 4-5.
Okay, so they're roughly a 500
They're
team.
not winning another game,
But right now today, they're roughly a 500 team.
yes.
And we're talking about them.
Yep. And I would have never even watched Colorado at all. We wouldn't be watching the Colorado UCLA game. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have been on ESPN at 6:30.
Clemson's a 500 team, and we're talking about them.
Right.
Pitt, I don't even think Pitt's a 500 team, and we're talking about them. I mean, have some personality. I mean, people have always been like, Dave Doran's boring. Dave Doran showed a sign of himself on Saturday that was not boring.
He is not boring, by the way.
But you see my point.
Yeah, but it's what he's been doing. All right, speaking of, so then you get the other side. I don't know if you saw this or not. Got two little updates on Michigan. One is that John Harbaugh in his press conference yesterday, I pulled this move before. It really pisses off media. You told me, I've told you.
This is the Ravens coach?
No, John Harbaugh.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Michigan.
Jim Harbaugh's at Michigan.
What'd I say?
John.
Dude, CTE kicking in. All right, Jim Harbaugh, I just straight looked at him right now. He was asked about the question came from the media. So he's at the table at the mic. Said, Coach Harbaugh, do you think the sign stealing controversy is going to have a stain on your legacy? He looked right at the guy and goes, we had a really good week of prep, off week, got some time to get off, got some time to get healthy, had some good practices, got some time off, and we're ready to go. Got one track mind, ready to go to Purdue. And they kept asking about it. And he kept answering the question with a completely different answer. You can get that, or you can get, it's two totally different things. All right, so that was one. This happened today. This has come out today. This is beautiful. So now to add, this is like an episode. Did you ever watch Nip Tuck on FX back in the day?
No, I've heard of it, but I never watched
All
it.
right, so it was one of these FX shows that just when you think there's nothing else that just crazy that they could write about or some storyline that's crazy, they would just top it every week with just more outrageous, to where the show was just so outrageous that they had to there was nothing else to write about. This sign stealing / going, sending people in advance to video has taken on a whole new, it just keeps getting worse. They now have pictures.
Oh, I've seen this.
From September 1st, which is the Friday, first game of the season, of Connor Stallions, the Michigan assistant, dressed up in Central Michigan coaching gear.
On their sideline.
On their sideline.
Meaning Central Michigan was working in cahoots with Michigan.
Some form of fashion. Against Michigan State.
That was the game that Jeff was at.
Yes, he was at that game. We should have asked Jeff yesterday.
I didn't know.
Hey, Jeff, did you
you see Connor Stallions?
Well, he probably wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, this takes on a whole new is
it bad that I'm kind of enjoying it? It
know,
feels like wrestling a little bit.
Neal, I don't even know what to say. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I try to put myself, like, all right, let's say I'm at South Alabama and we're playing Mississippi State.
Okay.
And an Ole Miss guy wants to beat Mississippi State real bad. So they come down and try to, like, that blows my mind.
To say they're going to help you with their signs.
Yeah, that would.
You would have been like, no, we're good. Right?
It wouldn't, but that's the point. No.
You just would have been shocked.
It would have never came up. Like, nobody has the nuts to even ask. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like beyond. Like, right, are you kidding me right now?
So where's this going to go? They obviously did it. They're obviously guilty.
Again, the signal stealing is not the problem. It's doing that's bad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. When we're past the point of people like me going, oh, what's the big deal? It's clearly a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big.
So where's it going? If you had to, I know you don't know because it's unprecedented.
In my opinion, they're so slow with their investigations. I think they're building a case, and this is going to be a big part of it. And they are going to hammer Jim Harbaugh sometime in the off season of 24.
Okay.
However, he'll get penalized, whatever. He won't be there. If he wants to coach again, he'll coach in the NFL. This will be his last year at Michigan.
I think so too.
That's my opinion, which will buy you a cup of coffee the next time you drive through. But
boy, that's one of those jobs. That's undoubtedly a top 10 job, maybe a top 5 job.
I've heard
that could cause the carousel to hop.
Oh, it will, kind of. Who gets that job?
A year ago, I would have said it's the guy at Wisconsin now, whose name is immediately Fickle. A year ago, I would have said Luke Fickell. I would have just gone, that's Fickell. But now he's at Wisconsin, so I don't know that he can bolt from Wisconsin to Michigan. If there's someone on that staff that just gets the job, I don't know who it is.
They got this thing there with outsiders, right?
So, they don't like them.
No. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Interesting. You know, Rich Rod was there for a little while. So it's an interesting gig.
Who's Partridge is there as a coordinator? Who's the other coordinator?
Well, so the one guy got let go. He's under the investigation.
Oh, that's right. He got the stuff with the computers and all.
Yeah. Gaddis had left for that.
You know, if there's ever been a time to make an excuse for, hey, let's bring in fresh blood, it would be then.
I think, though, with a place like that, to bring in fresh blood, you got to bring in fresh blood. You got to completely vacate the administration, the whole giddy up.
Would Partridge have a shot at that job?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't think.
No, they wouldn't let that happen. I mean,
no.
After you just went and got an NFL coach to take your job, I mean, it's going to have to be. I don't know. I don't know who fits.
I don't either.
It'll be interesting.
It's really interesting.
They're loaded.
Because a year ago, it would have been Fickell.
I can tell you this with 100% certainty. There's November is going to be tampering month with that roster.
Oh yeah. Because
they got some cats.
Grind says the Matt Starr Matt Campbell's star has fallen mightily. It's actually it's actually gained a little more. But I
the
don't
job that he's doing at Iowa State, nobody talks about because they don't understand the whole situation. They don't understand that he's minus 5 starters, including a quarterback from this gambling thing. I mean, he's doing a really good job, and they've gotten better.
Yeah, no, they're a contender.
They're playing well.
Yeah.
Now they had a rough year last year, but he's doing a really good job. He's a good ball coach.
Yeah, he is.
All right. And I'm going back to the Cooper Chevrolet chat yesterday, Neal. We were in here doing our show yesterday. In the Cooper Chevrolet chat, he just said it again, so it reminded me. Hayden Harris in the Cooper Chevrolet chat asked me to explain. I saw this yesterday, Superfield Missile and Gut Cross. I had no idea. I'm sitting here yesterday. I saw this yesterday. Okay. These are unique tags for blitzes that were a part of a staff that I once was on. And so when I saw that yesterday, for 5 minutes in our show yesterday, I'm going like, is Hugh in here in this chat? Like, I literally was like, is this Hugh? Like, Neal, there's 10 people on this planet that call it those things. And I'm sitting here going through my head like, who the hell is this? And how do you know it's called that? You know, it's that unique. So I didn't realize until last night that he said that in his press conference. And I don't have very quickly on what he said. I do not have a problem with what he said.
He's right.
He was right. He is, to his credit. Okay, I know everybody picks on him. I don't, because I'm his friend. I get criticized for not picking on my friends. Whatever, sue me. All right, so I just call that being a good friend. But anyway, I don't have a problem. If you got a problem with it, that's y'all's business. That's just me.
No, they're all good.
And anyway, long story short is he has done a really good job, to his credit, of trying to be very transparent with the media and talk to them instead of being closed off. He's doing a better job of that this time at Auburn than he did at Ole Miss. Okay, I think that's something he's trying to work on. All right, but gut cross, to answer the question, gut cross is when you take the 2 inside linebackers and you bring them in the A gap. Okay, straight down, you'd have 2. The defensive lineman would go out to the B.
Up the gut.
Right up the gut.
Yep.
Gut cross, everybody in America runs this blitz. Whether you're in a even front or an odd front, you take the A gap defensive lineman, you move him to the B gap, so he stunts. And then you bring the left inside backer and you bring him to the right A gap, and he goes first, or however you tag it. And then the other one crosses and goes to the other. So it creates a cross. Okay.
To get the offensive lineman to miscommunicate or their eyes go to the wrong place.
You try to get the center to see the nose moving one way, to step that way, see the backer going the other way, step this way, then bring another blip. So
Gotcha.
you're getting a center that's unathletic. You want to get him moving laterally.
Yes.
Okay. In man protection. You're wasting your time in slide. All right. So Superfield Missile. As soon as I saw that, I was like, who in the hell has I realized, I was like, Hugh's in here. His name's Hayden Harris. I know who Hugh is now. All right. So Superfield Missile is a lot of people run this blitz, and it's really evolved over the years, but it's a Sam or an outside backer that blitzes off the edge, and instead of coming off the edge, he comes under, like in a B gap or C gap, depending on the formation. And then it's a Sam strong safety blitz. Now you're bringing the safety and you're adding him as an extra guy on the outside. And then it's unique because of the coverage you have to play. All right. So we used to some people call it 2 kick. Some, places I've been, some people call it Superfield Missile coverage, but you're taking the backside safety, and he's got the half field on the other side of the field. So to snap the ball, he's hauling ass. The corner can show press, and he's really playing half, you're going to cover 2, but the quarterback, the left high safety has got the deep half on the other side of the field. So he's hauling ass. So if you can identify it, and it's a very easy defense for the defense to disguise. But as an offense, if you can pick it up, there's some holes in it. You can hit some plays if you can pick it up and got time to breathe. So that's what that is, Hayden. Thank you for bringing that up. And this last thing, and this is going to bring us into our next discussion. All right, Dabo Swinney. All right. I know you talked about this morning. I have absolutely 0.00% wrong with what he said. I think he was 100% right. He sat there, and if you have not listened to the whole question, You need to listen to it when our good friend Tyler from wherever he's from calls in. For 2 minutes and 36 seconds, Dabo let that guy talk. The guy made it personal. The guy went after him for 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Dabo didn't say anything. And then Dabo said what he said that's out there everywhere. I don't have a problem with that. And here's why I don't have a problem with it, Neal. And maybe I'm wrong, and you can call me a coach defender because I get criticized for that. I'm wrong a lot too. But here's my thing. Just because somebody's getting paid $11 million, we've turned into this society where it's like, I'm paying you $11 million, so you're going to be my bitch. And that's not how it works. Fuck that. You don't have the right to treat people like shit because they're getting paid a lot of money. And whether you agree with what the guy's saying or you disagree with what the guy's saying, you don't have to treat people like that. And we've got this society to where, hey, I'm going to treat you like shit because of who you are. But the second that person responds back and chips back, that person likes to play the victim. Oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. Screw that. Soft as shit, man. That pisses me off. Like, you can't sit there and just for 2 minutes and 36 seconds tear the guy down on freaking national radio or whatever the hell it was, calling show, and then expect the guy to just go, what'd you want him to say? You're right. I'm so sorry, sir. No, fuck that. Good for Dabo. Dabo went up like 100 points in my book. Good for him. That guy got exactly what he deserved. And if he doesn't like it, fuck it. Go cheer for South Carolina. It's fine. Dabo's going to be just fine.
Yeah. I said this on the morning show. I'll say it again briefly. Dabo has every right to defend himself personally. He does. There's the thing it's one of the reasons I catch myself less and less on social media by the day. It's just this place for anonymous attacks. And when I say this, I don't mean like there would be a physical altercation, because I mean, I'm a grown man, my goodness, right? But like, people say stuff on message boards, on social media that I just don't think they would say in the flesh.
No, they wouldn't say it. They don't.
And I don't mean because it would be like a fight. That's stupid. I just don't think they'd say it in person.
They don't have the nuts to say it.
I just don't think they'd say it. I think in real life, I just think a degree of and maybe I'm giving way too much faith to humanity here. A degree of just I don't know, politeness or something would kick in where that just wouldn't occur, right? I think I say that, and I say that as someone who, because of it, has stopped. I mean, I you know what I mean? I'm not making it about me, but like Dabo, he's bothered by it. Like you talk about his faith, you talk about his arrogance. It's like, okay, look, they're 4-4. They're 7-7 in their last 14. He's acknowledged that something's up. He knows the deal. I mean, you don't think a guy who's won for 10 or 11 straight years and suddenly isn't winning, isn't doing some reflection on, hey, what the hell's going on here? Of course they are. And he probably knows the answer. And here's the thing. You can't trade for Chase Young on Halloween in college football.
Be nice.
So you can't fix it until after the season. I mean, you can get in the tampering portal now and begin to work on it, and I'm sure they are. But you can't fix it until after the season. And he can't say that. He can't go, well, here's the deal. You're right. Probably got to use the portal more, and we're working on tampering right now. In fact, we just talked to a kid at Eastern Michigan earlier today. He can't say that.
That would be the best
awesome
soundbite of all time.
But so instead you just go, okay, well, yeah, take it. And he'd kind of owned it, and he let the guy talk, and the guy talked, and the guy talked, and the guy talked.
And he would still be talking if he didn't stop it.
And so, then he said his thing. And I'm like, that's cool, whatever. I mean, look, you get to see the human side of it. I can't tell you how many times with me I've had people go, why do you answer people on the message board? I don't know. It's part of my job to be on the message board. And when people go personal, I fight back. I don't know. Well, you shouldn't. Well, I do. Why? Why not?
Yeah.
And it's that whole deal of I don't think you'd say some of that. I don't think people would say that stuff. If that guy got in front of Dabo Swinney, I don't think he'd look at him and go, I kind of question your faith, and I think you've gotten arrogant. I really don't think he'd say that to him. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not really the other stuff, and I get it. He's not wrong. It's just the society now. It's everywhere. It's not just a Clemson problem, okay? It's an everywhere problem. All right, Lane Kiffin has had a phenomenal year this year. Okay?
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
And he's on the brink of having a special year. It's like you could literally wake up 10 days from now and you're like, oh,
well, he's literally 3-1 from going 10-2 in 2 out of 3 seasons at Ole Miss.
yeah. So
I mean, that's historic.
Let's go. Let's get crazy here. Okay, let's get crazy. All right. 10 days from now, I'm doing the math. Maybe it's 12. Okay.
What's today? Tuesday. So it'd be
Whatever.
11 days.
Okay, 11 days from
Yeah.
now. You wake up. By gosh, you're freaking 7, 8, 9-1, man. You just beat
Oh,
George on the road.
Yeah.
It's all time high. Okay.
No, you'll be third, fourth in the country.
All right.
Yeah.
Next season comes around, and he starts off the season 4-4. They'll be on his ass too.
Yeah.
That's the nature of
That's
the
where
business right now.
It is.
All right. It's the
It is.
nature of the business. And this is not a Clemson problem. And you know what? Lang would probably be like, y'all don't appreciate what we just did. You can't do that every year. Fans would be losing their shit. Fans would be losing their mind.
Well, there's more parity than ever before. The portal has evened that out. You manage things that you didn't used to have to manage before because now it's pretty public, right? You guys have NIL deals. Guys who aren't playing have NIL deals. Guys who are playing don't have as good of a deal. You have all that stuff going on in the locker room. Parents know it. You have social media. You have all these things. There's a lot to manage. It really should make you fully appreciate. I mean, frankly, like Kirby Smart's won 25 straight games.
All right. So Bob sent this to me today.
25 straight games in this era.
Hey, Bob sent this to me today. I know he's in the chat, in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. Let me see. And I did not look it up, but I think Bob did. So Bob, if it's not right, it's Bob's fault. Georgia, after losing on November the 7th of 2020 to Florida. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After that game.
Okay.
They've won 41 of their last 42 games.
Unbelievable. It truly is. Look, if they win another title this year and three-peat it, that would have been – what year was it that they lost to Bama in the title game?
They lost 2020 to Alabama because that was the year Alabama was unbelievable.
So they would have gone to the title game 4 straight years and won it 3?
I'd have to go back and look, dude.
Okay.
I know that they lost – Alabama, that was the year that they were on crack cocaine. That's one of the best teams ever, 2020 Alabama.
That was Mac Jones and
all the
loaded.
receivers.
Yeah. Who did they beat in the title game that year?
2020, dude, I
don't remember either.
I can't remember.
I have tried to block 2020 out of my brain.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's really, really hard to do what teams have done. And like Chase said this morning, and he's right, I almost forgotten about it. Clemson won 11 games last year.
Yeah, he's won every year. Even there's down years, he won 10 games. I think one year maybe was like 10
Well, he went
3.
6-7 in his first year, and since then they've basically won 9 or more games every
Yeah.
year. And they're not going to do it this year because they're not good enough.
Right.
And he's got to fix stuff. But,
Grind said Bama in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, Bama beat Ohio State in 2020.
Okay.
But, and also while we're in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, and Dwight, as much as he's our resident troll and he gets to time out and all that stuff in here, he does have a good point here. He says coaches are best off winning big,
Not winning big
early in their tenure. Slowly building creates the most job security. You remember when this was not a joke. We were being serious when we had Dan Werner on in Vegas. And I got him to tell that story.
Yeah.
I will never forget that as long as we live. He's like, hey, man, look, I was really upset after we had 2 games that we should have won in that season that we dominated the game and lost. We lost to Texas A&M
in 2012. Yeah.
We lost to Texas A&M. We had like 2 chances if we got the first down to run the clock out kind of deal. And we had this Johnny Manziel prayer when Mike Evans shoved off Sinquez. And then Vanderbilt, we did not punt in the Vandy game. We were kicking field goals. We couldn't finish drives.
Right.
And we lose to Vandy. Okay, we finished 6-6, and we beat Mississippi State at home in the Egg Bowl.
So you felt like you were this close to 8-4.
Well, yeah, we were really close to 8-4. And Dan was like, hey, man. He's like, hey. He's like, oh. He's like, perfect. It was the best season because he had been here with Ed before.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't understand these fans. He says, you don't understand. The best thing we can do is go 6-6. Find a way to go 7-5 next year. go 8-4 the next year and get the fuck out of here. I mean, he's been dead serious. And he's right, because that's the mode right now. Is it's very difficult. And look, it's a game. It's a game to fans, right? It's a game. It's not a game to coaches. It's your life.
Sure.
It's what you do for a living. And I've said this 1,000 times. Contrary to popular belief, coaches don't like picking up and moving all the time. They don't. They want to settle down and have a place to raise a family like a normal person. They would like that. But you just can't do that anymore. The only way to do that is to either do what Nick's doing in Alabama, where you're winning literally every single year for 15 years.
Yeah.
Just not possible.
No.
Okay. So unrealistic. All right. Or you can go.
Happy birthday, by the way, to Coach Saban today.
It is. This is his birthday today.
Yeah.
It's great. But you can go like when we took over at Arkansas State, or even here. Okay. They hadn't won a game, SEC game in like 3 years or 2 years, whatever it was when we got here. Well, you go 6-6 enough, they're going to get tired of that shit too. Like, the only way to really stay somewhere and put roots and stay for a long time is to be above the bar every single year. Because the second you go below the board, you're out. They're trying to get rid of your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is what it is. All right.
Another reason that I believe college football is about to get more volatile is something that you were talking to me about yesterday.
Yes.
So I've been telling you that I've been talking to people around the sport over the last year, a little more than a year, who have been saying, hey, there's a crisis kind of coming. And I was like, what's that? They're like, we're going to have an offensive line crisis. I'm like, well, why is that? Well, there are just fewer kids playing offensive line at the lower levels. There's so much focus on 7-on-7 in the offseason.
Valid.
And there's fewer offensive linemen. Meanwhile, there are more defensive linemen. And defense is about to start dominating offense. And I think, personally, this is the first season that you can start seeing it at the college level. It's probably really visible at the high school level. I don't know. I don't go to high school games.
It's rough.
But I think it's starting to get visible at the college level. If you look around the SEC, how many teams do you go, man, that's a really good offensive line? Not many. Not many. There's some that are serviceable, but how many do you go, man, that is a good offensive line? Not many. And now, I didn't know this until you started laying it out. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but we might be at the very precipice of a quarterback crisis.
Yeah, so I don't know what got me on this. I started thinking about, let me tell you what it was. I'll tell you what got me thinking about it. Got to thinking about this after we had Tom on last Tuesday, a week ago today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was asking Tom, I said, hey, are we going to have an Arch Manning signing? He's like, well, you know, all this stuff. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, how many of these $1 million quarterbacks that just went off, what are we doing with these guys? And so I went and looked. And I did Power 5, okay? So 65 teams in Power 5. There is absolutely, for the first time I can ever remember, and maybe I'm wrong, but I can't ever remember it in my lifetime, we now have 0, because Dante Moore did do it at UCLA and he got benched.
Yeah.
We have 0 true freshmen starting quarterbacks in Power 5.
Okay.
0.
All right.
And also then I looked at, and then
that was not the most interesting stat. This one is the most interesting.
So then
stat.
I had that in my mind, right? Then this weekend, I'm scrolling through TikTok, and this thing comes across. It says 2022 top quarterbacks in America where they win or whatever. It had this list. I start scrolling through it. I'm like, he's not very good, and he's not very good, and he's not very good. And I say, who's this guy? Who's this guy? So I went and did a study today. And in Power 5, there are 8 second-year players playing in Power 5. 8. So between the 2023 and 2022 class in quarterbacks, there are 8 players playing. 8 of the 2 entire classes. Now, why is that, we ask?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 reasons. One, COVID has added an extra year to a lot of guys, so they're able to hang on for another extra year.
Guys, some older guys are keeping jobs.
Like great example will be like KJ Jefferson. If he wants to stick around again, like he feels like he's been in school forever because he has.
But he could technically play another year.
He could technically play another year, right? Because he may not be an NFL guy or whatever it is. So here are the here are the four
Oh,
guys.
I'll find this somewhere. I'll be real short because I can't remember exactly where I got it. I was kind of working on something for next Sunday for 10 Weekend Thoughts. There were 13 current college quarterbacks who are draft eligible, who have been graded high enough to be considered draft worthy.
Okay.
I don't think anybody is watching KJ Jefferson this year going, that dude's an NFL quarterback. Not me.
Correct.
I'm
not either.
I watched him in person the other day and was like, dude, no.
It's too inconsistent.
He got one of the grades.
Really?
Yeah. He was number 13.
But was it for another position, though?
No. As just
I could see somebody giving him like a Jalen Hurts.
No,
because Jalen Hurts was drafted actually as a tight end. They were playing with tight end.
It was just hey, he's big, got a big arm. Maybe he could do whatever. The point is that you see how there's a quarterback crisis in the NFL, right? There's a reason. I was listening. I'll give credit where credit's due. Ryan Russillo's show. I was listening to it today when I was out walking. And he was talking about the injuries to Kirk Cousins and Kenny Pickett and the guys that came in behind them in that Jets-Giants game where the Giants in a National Football League game threw for -9 yards. And he said, this is why people get mad every Sunday, but the NFL's doing the right thing to overprotect the quarterbacks. Because if you don't protect the good quarterbacks, you're going to have games like that.
And bad product.
And if you have a bunch of games like that, the product's shitty and no one's going to watch it. And he's 100% right. I mean, he's like, I get it. You get upset when quarterback gets hit and you're like, that's football. And they throw the flag and it's like the league is going, no. We must protect these guys because that is what holds the product up.
All right. So how about this? I got this written down. Got my research on my handy dandy notepad over here. In the SEC, do you know how many first or second year quarterbacks we have playing in the SEC that you would consider a starter?
First or second year?
Mm-hmm. In the SEC.
I mean, Daniels is a second year.
No, I'm talking about first or second year removed from high school.
Oh.
Freshmen or sophomores. 2022 or 2023 class.
Oh, so let's see.
I'll give you a hint. There's one. Out of 14 teams, there's one.
Wow. Who is it?
Connor Wegman.
Okay.
At Texas A&M.
Okay.
Is a second-year player.
Okay.
All right. In the ACC, there are two. And Clemson
has one of them.
In Cade Klubnik.
Yep.
All right. The other one is Thomas Castellanos from Boston College.
Wonder if he's related to Nick.
I don't know. Could be. Big Ten. There are two in the Big Ten. Drew Allar at Penn State, who's a second-year player, and Tavon Jackson, the Indiana quarterback. Two.
Okay.
In the Pac-12, you got two now. Dante Moore, he got benched, but he was a five-star kid, got benched.
And the kid at Arizona.
You got the kid at Arizona, Noah. I can't even pronounce his name. Fafita. He's fun.
He's
good.
fun.
He's fun. He's good.
Fun. Yeah.
He's good. And then you got Ashton Daniels at Stanford. Those are your two. In the Big 12, and this is my point I'm getting at. If you can name this guy, I'll kiss your ass. Can anyone name me the one quarterback in the Big 12?
Even if I could, I would rather a pad. Really, I'm not interested. But I don't know.
Rocco Breck from Iowa State.
How about that?
And why is he starting?
Because the other kids are suspended.
There you go. And so you're in this. I've never heard of that in my life.
Okay, so here's where my mind goes when you go through that, and that's really compelling.
Yeah,
that's 65 schools, basically 8 kids.
And how many of those are good that we just named? That you said, by gosh, that kid right there is a bona fide dude. How many of those guys are bona fide dudes?
I mean, I like Weigman. I like the kid at Arizona. I think people are checking out on Klubnik way too fast. But that's about it. I mean,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. And that's where my mind goes. So we're watching the SEC. Okay. LSU got a quarterback out of the portal.
Yep.
Ole Miss got a quarterback out of the portal.
Two other ones too.
Huh?
Two other ones too.
But they're
Walker Howard is one of the kids in the 2022 class, by the way.
Okay. And he's running third team.
Yep.
LSU got a kid out of the portal. Ole Miss got a kid out of the portal. I'm trying to think. Auburn's got a kid out of the portal. A&M's got a kid out of the portal. Max Johnson's out of the portal. Alabama signed their guys.
Well, they got their backups out of the portal.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they're starters.
Yeah. South Carolina's portal.
South Carolina's
Florida's
portal.
portal.
Yeah.
Kentucky's portal.
Yep.
Tennessee's is not.
Right. Vanderbilt's not.
Vanderbilt's not. Mississippi State's not.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Rogers.
the guy starting now is technically.
So we'll call that a half. Portal.
And then
They would be
Arkansas is not.
Yeah.
KJ's
KJ's
grown,
their guy.
but a majority of them. George's is not. It's grown. He's been there forever.
So where my mind goes is, okay, so all those schools go portal for quarterback. And it's worked for most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, LSU, Ole Miss clearly really worked.
Some. Auburn's doesn't work.
Yeah. But Auburn would be in a world of hurt if they didn't have Peyton Thorne.
Yes.
They
need other players too.
But they'd be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
I think they would have lost Saturday. They
yeah.
He's
I'm with you.
Ashford and them, it's not working right. Anyway, besides the point. When you go back to the portal now, there's not going to be anything in it.
That's my point.
So you're going to go to the portal and you're going to say, okay, well, I'm looking for an experienced quarterback to come play. Good luck. You're going to be rolling the dice on a backup somewhere, or you're going to be taking some kid out of the MAC or the Western Athletic, whatever it's called, Mountain West or something like that. But you're going to be taking some kid and you're going to say, hey, come to the SEC, come to the Big Ten and play at a higher level. And sometimes that works and sometimes it does not.
I'm sorry. I spoke wrong. Thank you. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Grind in the
so Milton is
Milton went to Michigan.
Okay,
I totally
so
forgot about that.
Tennessee's portal.
Yeah.
So what happens when you go to the portal and there's nothing in the portal?
You're going to have to take a chance on a kid that you thought was good 2 or 3 years ago because you're not going to have any film or anything to grade him on.
It's going to be fascinating. It really is. See,
Daniels.
So in my
Daniels that's at LSU that everybody loves.
Yeah,
he was good at Arizona State.
Yeah,
like think about the guys that.
Well, I mean, Jackson Dart started games at USC, and had they not brought
Caleb
Caleb Williams,
was the starter at Michigan State.
Had they not brought Caleb Williams, he was going to probably be the starter at SC again. So you're getting proven guys, but now that you're cycling through those, right? Here's where my mind goes is. So you're going to tell me that you're going to have an offensive line crisis, which I think is. I think
valid.
I think it's there.
Yes.
I don't know the game well enough to go, oh, see, there's a crisis. But my mind kind of shows me something. And then, and hey, I don't think you can fix that out of the portal. I don't think you can go put an offensive – you can go get a wide receiver out of the portal.
Yeah, skill players are easier.
You can go get a safety, a corner. You can even get a linebacker or two out of the portal. Defensive linemen are going to cost you an arm and a freaking leg to get out of the portal, but you can get a few. Like I cover a program that went and got a few kids out of the portal, and they've pegged Akilo Stone and Isaac Ukwu and some guys like that have filled some gaps. JJ Pegues. Yeah. You can't get the elite, change the game portal guy, I don't think. But if you can't get quarterbacks out of the portal anymore, you got to grow your own, and you can't get offensive linemen out of the portal, and there aren't as many to develop, and your offensive line play generally, and I'm not talking about one specific school or one specific league, but just generally, offensive line play declines and then quarterback play declines, the product is going to decline.
Yeah. And you just don't have, there's no, and look, I'm not saying that Ty Simpson, he could leave Alabama and go somewhere and end up being a great player.
Well, let's use it because you and I were doing this pre-show, and I said, take Ty Simpson for example. He could transfer.
Mm-hmm.
If Ty Simpson got into the portal today, right now, he would have 50 offers within an hour.
Yep.
Cool. One school gets Ty Simpson. What do you get? You get a guy that's been at Alabama, coach's son, the whole deal, but he hasn't proven that he can play. Maybe he can. Maybe he ends up being an All-American. He hadn't proven it. But for the other 49 teams that don't get him, where do they go?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
It just cycles down.
I mean, this Austin Simmons at Ole Miss, the true freshman. Now, I think he knew coming in this was going to be a sit year. So this is not. I'm not foretelling anything. I swear.
He's good.
But if Austin Simmons got in the portal today, 50 offers at a minimum,
easy.
But he's not proven he can play. You think he'll be able to play?
I think he's going to be great.
Right. But you understand my point.
Yeah.
You're not getting a proven commodity, and you're bringing in a young guy that you got to develop.
Yeah.
You still got to develop him.
Oh, and by the way, in case you're curious, there's a whole slew of 24 guys coming too. You know what I mean? Like we're just So this next year that we're going in, and this is my point, right?
Right.
Is you have 5 years, okay? 5 years of people that make up your class, right? Your team. So you're going to go into this next season with 60% of the age available dudes that can play quarterback. Only 8 of them have played.
Yeah.
8 of 3 classes.
And maybe this young group will come in and there'll be a bunch of world beaters. Maybe so. I don't know. But you're going to go young with unproven guys. And at a time when, to your point, tying it all together, there's probably less patience now than ever before.
Ever. That's the deal. Patience. Your ass is fired.
Because the coaches are making a ton of money. And now
back-
there's a playoff. And so for the Power 5, it's going to be, well, either you make the playoff or it's a bust.
Yeah.
Playoff or bust. So for 12 teams, they'll make it. For the other 50 some odd, they won't. And they'll have to answer for that.
Yeah, and then but even if you go back, right? Like Caleb Williams is in the last class, Drake May's in the last class. Like there's some dude, you know what I mean? Like there's dudes. I don't even in the 22 class, like I don't see dudes. You know what I mean? I don't go, my gosh, there's Caleb Williams. I don't see dudes. Now in the 2023 class, I love Nico. I think he's going to be great. I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, most people do.
Yeah. And Jaden Daniels.
I still love Dante Moore.
Yeah. He's different, but he'll work in a Chip Kelly offense. Should, but he got benched. You know, you're like, what's going on? So I like Arch. I like Jaden Daniels. There's 4 or 5 in that class I think are talented, but it's just unproven. And my point is this: as a coach, are you going to go put your job on the line for a guy you have no idea if it's really going to pan out or not? Because if he was that dude, his ass would be playing where he's at.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
Period.
Right.
If he's that dude, he would be playing right now. If Ty Simpson, with all the quarterback struggles that they've had at Alabama, if Ty Simpson was that dude, his ass would be playing right now.
Well, it's like Walker Howard at Ole Miss.
If he was that dude,
he'd
be playing right now.
Right. So you have to you do have to start to ask the question. I'm not saying that Walker Howard won't end up being an All-American, but it's more than fair after 2 years in systems to go, okay, so let's get this straight.
You've had 2 years.
He was at LSU, and he couldn't get past third team, and they let him walk. They didn't fight it. And now he's at Ole Miss, and he's third team, and he's not scratching, and nobody's really talking about it. What's he going to be? And they brought in a guy behind him. And they're going to try to bring in another guy. And I would assume Dart stays, but if Dart leaves, Kiffin's going to go portaling.
Yeah, somebody needs to get a hold of him, get him, because if he stays, there's this NFL class, in my opinion, is going to be a lot of people.
Yeah. And then the next
year, yeah.
I suspect he stays. But I was making the point to say, he is draft eligible. He could leave. And so if he did, they would go portaling. And so you don't, again, if you don't play, there's typically a reason you don't play. If you jump in the portal because you're not playing, and I've heard coaches say this privately and a few publicly, hey, man, I'm a little scared of a guy that didn't play at the previous place. He didn't play? Why didn't he play?
Well, I need
to know, right? And sometimes
it's valid, sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it was an eval mistake on the other staff.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it was sometimes there was no room. The kid that left Ole Miss, Kentrell Bullock, to go to South Alabama. Well, he wasn't going to play in front of Quinshon. He went to South Alabama, and he's playing. He's the starter. He's a good back. I mean, there's examples of that. But now, hey, it's easier to go down a level and play than it is to go up a level and play. That's proven. There's a lot of guys that come from the group of 5 and they step up into the Power 5, and it's just too much. Not all the time.
Yeah, you got Trey Harris's of the world, and you got the Zachary Franklin's of the world.
It just hadn't worked.
Yeah,
it's a different discipline level.
Yeah,
it's a different atmosphere. I mean, I've talked to guys who've gone from Group of 5 to Power 5, and I've talked to guys who've gone from Power 5 to Group of 5. Parents, when I say that, not the kids themselves, parents, and they'll tell you it's different.
Yeah. All right, Neal. Before we get out of here, we'll skip on some of this stuff. Let's just do the SEC preview of the week.
Yep.
We'll just do that.
All right.
I got these in order of time of kickoff, in case you're curious.
Okay.
All right. So first game out the gate.
Four 11 a.m. games.
A lot of 11 a.m. games. All right. The Texas A&M Aggies are traveling to Oxford, Mississippi this weekend for an 11 a.m. kickoff. I know all the fans are excited. Not really, but Neal is very excited. So
I love 11 a.m. The only thing better than 11 a.m. would be 10 a.m.
Dude, I'm serious. fans would hate this. I wish they kicked them some bitches off at 7 a.m.
Oh, sign me up.
Sign me up for that. If you're a morning practice team, you're up anyway. Let's go. 7 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah, the kids are in the building at 6:30 every day anyway.
Let's go.
Let's play.
Let's play. Line it up and play. All right, Texas A&M Ole Miss. Ole Miss is favored by 3. Last I saw, that was this afternoon at some point in time, if it hasn't moved again. Here's where I'm at with this game. This is a game about matchups to me. Ole Miss, big advantage playing at home.
David, I love you. Don't get me wrong. I hope you're having a phenomenal Halloween. But when you use the one super outlier, yes, Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State. There aren't a lot of Joe Burrows.
What was the take?
He doesn't like my take about Walker Howard and those guys. Joe Burrow also got hurt at Ohio State.
He was the first overall pick in the National Football League.
And he was sitting behind another first round pick.
Yeah.
The room was a little crowded.
A little bit.
I'm not holding yeah.
All right.
You do have to listen. You have to ask the question after the spring. Lane Kiffin, knowing he was bringing in Walker Howard, still brought in Spencer Sanders, and so there was something there. That's all I'm saying. And maybe it was to keep Spencer Sanders from going someplace. I don't think we'll ever know the truth.
I can guarantee you won't ever know the truth.
But
I don't know what it is.
But
I bet you don't know it.
I'm just saying. I like Walker Howard. I hope he ends up being a superstar.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it is valid, and Joe Burrow's an outlier.
All right, Texas A&M and Ole Miss. This game to me is about. I think Ole Miss has a huge advantage playing at home. I think regardless of what time the kickoff is, I think it'll be a great environment.
Yep. They actually have really good environments at 11 o'clock there.
Yeah, I can't. Like I went to the Vandy game. The only for a Vandy game was phenomenal environment for the players. I thought the fans did a really good job in that game. The only really empty spots were the visiting sections.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. All right, but they won't be empty this week. Here's my deal with this. This game's about matchups. Some interesting matchups. I think Ole Miss's offensive line really hasn't been tested like they're going to get tested this week,
Big
and that's
time.
including Alabama.
Big time.
I think this is the best front seven in the SEC.
I think yards per play given up, A&M's number 1 in the league.
Yeah, where they've been hurt, where they've been hit, and where they've been hurt. They've been hit and hurt when you can give the quarterback time, and they do give up some plays on the back end.
Yeah,
I think Ole Miss will be able to get open. I think they're going to be able to win some one-on-one matchups and do some things. Can they protect long enough to really make that effective? Can they get the running game going? Because this front seven is no joke. I mean, they are no joke. I think that's a massive advantage for Texas A&M when it comes to that.
It's the reason the line's low.
Yeah. On the flip side, you talk about the Texas A&M offense. Texas A&M's receivers will be as good as they've seen since LSU. I think they're probably right below that, the LSU. But you can make the argument if it wasn't for Neighbors just being a freak. They're going to do some things in the back, receiver wise against the Ole Miss secondary. But here's the trick: Texas A&M's like kryptonite is offensive line play. Shocker. I think what you'll see, I think for the fans that go in this game to really pay attention, what you'll see here is I think Pete Golding will try to do what he kind of did against LSU a little bit. I think he'll be more successful, but play a little bit more simple scheme-wise. If he can get to Max Johnson with the downs and not have to bring pressure,
right,
that's going to allow them to do some things in the back end coverage-wise to help in the back end. If he can't and he has to start bringing pressure to get to the quarterback, there could be some issues. So those are the two matchups. It's really A&M and Ole Miss aren't very good up front on the offensive line wise. Right. I think they both can be exposed by the other a little bit. So I want to see those matchups.
Yeah, Ole Miss has only 3 fewer sacks than Texas A&M this year.
Yeah. And Texas A&M, that's one thing they don't do. They don't bring a lot of pressure. They just kind of get to you up front.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be where, in my opinion, where the game is won and lost on both sides. Shocker, SEC game. But truly in this game will be won whoever's offensive line plays the best.
Yeah.
All right. UConn at Tennessee will be a complete and utter blowout unless Tennessee's just asleep, getting ready for Georgia. Arkansas at Florida. Really interested in this game. Does Arkansas show up after a week off?
2 teams that have given up the exact number of points, exact same number of points.
Yeah, Arkansas is better defensively than people give them credit for. They play very sound. But I
Travis Williams has done a good
he's
job.
done a good
there.
job.
He has.
Arkansas is all about for me is they've lost what 5 or 6 in a row now. 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
6 in a row. How does that? I mean, what they've had a bye week. They fired their offensive coordinator. You're not changing some kind of magical scheme that's going to improve. They're not getting any better.
What they've done is they've taken a lot out of the offense.
You're going to simplify some things.
They've taken 30% out, according to Pittman.
And when you do that, it comes down to players.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the road, Florida, I think Florida probably covers this game. But if Arkansas can find a way, this would be a big game for Sam Pittman. If he can win it, it would give him a lot of momentum to help him toward the end of the year. I just don't think it's happening. I'd take Florida in that one. Here we go. My Fighting Rich Rodriguez's, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks for traveling in the Battle of the Gamecocks, playing in Columbia. Dude, the Gamecocks of South Carolina better be on upset watch. I'm just letting everybody know. They better be on upset watch because they suck on defense. They're terrible. They're terrible. Jacksonville State, I'm just saying, because they can play defense.
I'm with you. I think this is a potential upset.
Now, I'm probably got half my heart on this one too. I think this is going to be a legit game. Rich Rod, Jacksonville State's lost 2 games. They lost to Coastal Carolina early in the year, who's had a good year, and then lost to Liberty, undefeated, where that game went to the fourth quarter. Jacksonville State also played last Tuesday or Wednesday. And they've had kind of not a bye week, but had 10 or so days, and they've been dinged up. Zion Webb, the quarterback there, he's special if he can stay healthy. So heads up on upset watch there. All right, Missouri at Georgia. I think Georgia makes another statement here. I do.
I kind of do too.
I think this is the last thing you want to do is doubt Georgia. And Bob wanted me to show it today. Bob sent me I guess it was a tweet or a graphic or something. Some of these ESPN gurus didn't even have Georgia in the top 4. I don't understand it. Like, you should just lose all credibility. You should lose your credentials to get into the ESPN building in Bristol if you don't have Georgia in your top 4. It's just ridiculous. I think they make a statement this weekend. I think they blow the doors off of Missouri. All right, Auburn at Vandy. Vanderbilt's terrible, man. They're so bad. I felt so bad from the other day. They had the right scheme. I was laughing. They had one play. 19, is that Wade for Ole Miss?
Yes, Dayton Wade.
He came out of the backfield like on a flare, and the linebacker had him. They were banjoing the backs, and so the linebacker had Wade in man coverage, and he flips the flare out to Wade, and it looked like a 7-year-old chasing an adult. I was like, there's nothing you can do. The guy knew what he was doing. He had him the whole way, and he couldn't keep up. It was so bad. I think Auburn wins the game. I think they got to create some momentum here. Connor Lew, give a little shout out to my good friend Bob Brucato right here. Connor, Bob used to coach Connor back in the day. All SEC freshman of the week. The center started his first game, played really well. He's got some freshmen that can play. He's going to have to start playing some of them because of injuries. But Connor Lew did a really good job. SEC Freshman of the Week is starting at center. Really big game for both teams takes place down in Starkville for different reasons. Kentucky -3.5 at State. Big game. I've heard the Arnett talk. I think it'd be a terrible mistake on Mississippi State's part to let him go.
Starting to really percolate.
I just don't understand. I've never, and I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't understand that the answer to your problems is just to hit the reset button every year. Okay. Mullen was there forever. He left them. They've been searching for what he gave them since he left. They've been searching.
Good luck.
All right. You hire, what's my guy that got in a fight with Ross Bjork at the Egg Bowl, head coach?
Oh, Moorhead.
Yeah, Moorhead. They fire Moorhead because he didn't fit in. They bring in Leach, and God rest his soul, but they wasn't excited about that, where that was going till the very end. And you bring in Arnett. We're gonna have 4. This could be the 4th head coach in 1, 2, 5 years. Is that right?
Leach was at State for 3 years because he and Lane came in at the same time, right?
Yeah, so it'd be your 4th head coach in 6 years if they were to move on.
Yeah.
Like, the answer is not always the reset button. if you're having to hire 4 head coaches in the Southeastern Football Conference, where you're supposed to be able to go get the best of the best, maybe you should look in the mirror and see what the problems are, because it's probably not the guy with the whistle hanging around his neck.
That's the hardest part for programs, man.
They don't want to understand. They don't understand that. I think it'd be a terrible travesty.
Because the people that make those decisions typically are boosters.
Have never done anything in their life.
It's bigger than that. You're right. They're two things. Usually they're successful business people who think that you can do it the way they built their business. And secondly, they just love the school so much that they're blinded by it. They're looking at it through purple and gold glasses or red and blue glasses or maroon glasses, and you don't really see what it is. You see it through your perspective. And it ain't easy. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to piss people off, and I'm not, this isn't some Ole Miss, Mississippi State take. It's just not. Texas and Oklahoma are about to join the league. If you rank jobs from easiest to hardest, 1 to 16, 16 is Vanderbilt.
I think that's the safest. That's the safest cold take you've ever had in your life.
But 15, it might be Mississippi State. Didn't say it is, but they'd be in the conversation for 15. And when you're in that conversation, you better figure out how you can stop being 15th. Because when you bring somebody in, if it's the 15th job in the 16th league and you don't give him the resources to fix it, it ain't going to matter.
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand how the guy literally has not had a recruiting class yet. And you're going to fire the guy?
I mean, now look, here's the flip side.
Like, I'm with you.
But here's the flip side. And I said this morning. If you've made up your mind that you're going to fire him, then do it.
I agree with your sentiment on that. Because you said that before.
Get to the next. Go ahead and get to the next guy. Don't do this deal. Don't do that stupid thing where you go, okay, well,
we're behind you.
Well, no. We're going to keep him. We're going to keep him if he beats Ole Miss, or we're going to keep him if he gets to 6.
Has nothing.
So let me see if I got this right. You're going to fire him at 5-7, but keep him at 6-6, or fire him at 4-8, but keep him at 5-7. Are you? You've already said the F word a few times. Are you freaking stupid? I mean, because of one game in a sport where, like I said this morning, you play Ole Miss, and let's say Ole Miss just has the nightmare game. It happens. You see it all the time. Dart those 3 picks, fumbles a snap. Judkins has 2 fumbles. Tight end goes down in the first quarter. They got to change the blocking scheme. It doesn't work. State plays out of their freaking mind, blocks a punt, returns a kick.
Somebody acts like a dog and pees in the end zone.
Whatever. Kicker misses kicks.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help
But
myself.
you understand, crazy stuff.
I do understand.
It's football. Crazy stuff happens in football.
Yeah.
Not often, but occasionally. You see a 16-point underdog win games. Happens. So because that happened for 3.5 hours on a Thursday night, you're going to go, okay, now we're changing everything. Well, then you deserve all the bad things that are coming your way. You really do. You deserve all the bad things that are coming your way.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid. You're making an emotional decision. But if you've made the decision that Zach Arnett's not the guy, move on.
I just think it's asinine to try to get rid of him. He hasn't even had a recruiting class yet because they did not name him the permanent guy till right before signing day. Is that correct?
I don't remember
but
exactly.
It was late.
Yeah, it was January.
Yeah. So I mean, come on. I mean, what are we doing?
Or no, it was December. I mean, it was right before signing day.
It's stupid.
Because Coach Leach passed in early December.
Before the bowl game.
Yeah.
All right. Probably the SEC game of the week. LSU at Alabama. Loaded week this week. I'm not. We'll go over the national games on Thursday. Okay.
Okay.
Last game we'll go over. LSU at Alabama.
Can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
This line is Alabama.
Even me, who after I cover a game earlier in the day, you can't force me to watch a football game. I will turn this one on.
Alabama -3. Here is what I would be looking for as a fan. LSU. I really want to know if Pete Jenkins, what he's had kind of input, not input, but suggestions that's being listened to there. Since he has been there, and you saw this a little bit in the Missouri game in the second half. They got away from playing freaking man free every snap to just freaking lining up and playing zone or whatever it was, because that's where they're weak on the corner spots, right? They don't do well versus the pass. They've started playing a little bit of like zone and just letting their kids play football, and they've had some stops.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of stops. They are dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. Alabama, you're not going to get Alabama this cheap. Both of them are off bye weeks. Alabama will be healthy. Alabama will be feeling good. I have a feeling that Alabama makes a statement in this game. I do. If you just look at the matchups, you got one offense, a really good dynamic. I mean, even though I don't think maybe there are statistically, I don't know, but arguably the best, I think the best offense in the league.
Jaden Daniels has the best QBR in all of college football.
You got that going against the Alabama defense at Alabama, and you got the Alabama offense who's been sleepy as grits versus a LSU defense that's been ran through like shit through a tin horn. I think defense wins these games. I think players naturally get tight in big games like this, so I'm going to go. I think this is a defense. That's what wins this game. I think Alabama makes a statement. I think it's a double-digit win by Alabama at home.
Oh, wow. How about that?
I think it's a double-digit Alabama win at home. I do think that I think they've had 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's had this game circled after last year. They lost this game on a 2-point play last year. So I will be very interested in that. And then Booth Buys in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, Harold Perkins versus those slow tackles. Oof, I agree. I don't think you're going to see much of that. I think they're not going to do a whole lot of drop back. I'd be surprised if they get into a drop back game. I think you're going to see them doing a lot of what running game wise, what Ole Miss did to them, really trying to take him out of the game. I don't think you're not going to get in a situation where they're going to have to sit back and now if you get in third and long all day, Booth, and you start having a man protect, he'll have a field day because those tackles at Alabama are slower than molasses. But if you can go at them and create some run action, some play action, and some boots and stuff on early downs and get some yards that way, I think it's their way. Grind in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, can Bama win and still go to Atlanta? Yeah, I think if Bama wins, they do go to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah.
I think you think it means can they lose and still go to Atlanta?
I think you mean can they lose and still go to Atlanta?
I mean, I guess technically you could because they could lose this game and LSU would lose to Texas A&M and
Ole Miss loses to
Georgia.
Sure.
That's how that would have to happen. What is if we get there, what's the tie? Like, didn't the tiebreaker used to be highest ranked in college football playoff?
It's something with the East, and it's supposedly I can't remember who they said. I think it's LSU would win it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I think
I have consistently said this. I refuse to do one of two things. I refuse to have the whole tiebreaker conversation with any degree of
until it becomes
seriousness.
an issue.
And I refuse to do the Ole Miss college football playoff thing until they beat Georgia. I'm not, and there's no knock on anybody. It feels like famous last words, right? People go, oh, Georgia this, Georgia's gettable. Then they win by 3 touchdowns. When Georgia loses,
yeah,
I'll go, okay, cool. And it's not, look, for my business, it'd be awesome. I mean, sign me up. But I'm not. I don't want to be the guy that's been talking about that and then they lose by 27 points. I'll just wait. Let's see what happens. I kind of agree with you. I think Georgia has played with its food for a while. I think they've been a little bored. I think they're unbored now. And I have a feeling we're about to see really good Georgia. But maybe not. I think Missouri's fun. I think Missouri's good. I think Eli's a really good coach. I think he's going to have a good plan. I think Lane's going to have a good plan. They're going to get people's best shots. I just think we're about to see just how great they are. That's it.
You may, since I'm, people have a tough time distinguishing between my opinions and my hot takes. Let me give you my hot take. I'll give you a hot take. I think Georgia's offense is better without Brock Bowers.
I've heard other people say that.
Because they have to.
It makes them spread it out.
Makes them more multiple. Like, when it comes crunch time, that Bowers was getting the ball.
Yeah. Snod says, I fully expect us to lose to Georgia, but let us dream, damn it. Yeah, I'm letting you dream. I'm just not doing a podcast on, hey, what would the playoff be? No. If it were 12-team, I'd be doing it every day.
Well, you'd already be having a conversation, right?
I'd be selling it every day. But right now, it's not. And so, they got to beat A&M first. And then if they do, They get a shot at Georgia. I view it as kind of free shot because Georgia's the king. You take your shot, and if you don't get it, you still have a real shot at an Access Bowl by beating ULM and Mississippi State. But you got to do that first. And if you beat Georgia, hey, different conversation completely the next day.
Yeah, I'm after seeing the pulse of the Ole Miss fan base this week, I would be, before we get to Georgia, you got a game this weekend.
Big time.
Like, this is.
Well, here's the thing.
It's a
And
legit
we'll finish.
test.
We'll finish with this. Two things. Lane was very funny yesterday. The shade was funny. It was brilliant.
Was it a collection of his thoughts?
Yes. But he also sprinkled a lot of truth in there, which is that is a really talented team. They are loaded.
Oh, and it's personal for him and somebody else.
And it's personal for
like,
the other guy too.
Well, two guys.
Yeah.
Two guys. It's
Yeah.
personal.
And so it's going to be a hell of a game. We'll see. Personally, I think Ole Miss is going to win, but I could be wrong. But yes, A&M's 5-3, but they lost early at Miami in a weird game. They lost at Tennessee, which a lot of teams do, and they lost to Bama, and most everybody does. So
You could make the argument if Ole Miss had the exact same schedule.
that they'd have that
They
record.
had the exact same
And we just never know, right?
But you just don't know.
You don't know. If A&M had played, what would A&M's schedule have been if they'd played Ole Miss's schedule? I don't know. Hell, they could have lost at Tulane.
They could have lost
the
to
way
Tulane.
A&M plays. The way A&M plays with their food, they could have lost to Georgia Tech. I mean, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. Here's the great thing. You know where I'm going. We'll finish with this.
It's a scoreboard business.
At 11 o'clock, it's going to say 0-0. And they're going to call.
What's the quarter thing gonna say?
quarter one.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
It's going to have 15-0-0. And they're going to flip a coin, and one team's going to win the toss and either take it or defer. And then they're going to let the other team pick which side they want to defend first. And then they're going to kick it, probably through the end zone. And whichever team gets it first, it's going to be 1st and 10 on the 25. And the ref will do this thing, just start a little clock. And then they'll snap the ball, and the other clock will start, and they'll play. And they'll keep stats. And at the end of the day, someone's going to win. And that's the great part. We can stop the debate at that point.
You can.
All right, we'll be back on Thursday. We'll make our picks so Tyler can finish coming back and defeating me and our Make It Rain Thursday competition. If you're out there trick-or-treating tonight, be safe, have fun.
Give the kids lots of candy and mask.
And look out for the kids. Yep, look out for the kids. If you're driving, look out for the kids. And we will talk to you again. We've been brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. Rain, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
And I want to thank everybody in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. Y'all were great today. And make sure to understand it's Black Friday every day in November at Cooper Chevrolet in Buick and Anniston. Cooper's just received a huge truckload of brand new Chevy Tahoes and Silverado pickups in every trim. With over 200 new Chevys, Buicks, and quality pre-owned, many with an extended warranty backed by Car Bravo. Cooper is sure to have the right vehicle at the right price. Check out East Alabama's best selection today at cooperchevrolet.com.
Talk to you Thursday. Bye.